All right, so let's go ahead and flesh out our multiple choice app just a little bit more. So what we want to do is we want to basically create a new list, and inside of each of the elements for that new list, we want to have multiple answer choices. So we're going to kind of have like a two deep set of lists, like a list where all the items in the list are lists themselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a new variable, and we'll just call this one answer choices list. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically treat it exactly like this, except instead of having just one answer choice that's the correct answer, we want to have like 4 different items in here that pertain to just that first question. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to basically make a list, and I'll just copy this block, except I'm going to get rid of all those text values. So what this is going to be is the first block in here is going to be the answer choices for the first question, and the second little block is for the second question, so on and so forth. So I really want to put like 4 different answer choices or 3 different answer choices in right here. So in order to do that, I need to make a new list, and I'm going to want to have, let's just say I have 3 answer choices to start with. I could certainly make this a little more flushed out if I wanted to. So again, just to make sure that this is really clear, because at first it can kind of be confusing because it's like a list of lists. What this answer choices thing is a list where each of the items in that first list are multiple answers, or a list that would be the answer choices for the first thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy this, and then I'll just pause the video and go ahead and insert some of the answer choices. You, of course, can do the same thing in your app if you're customizing it, according to your preferences or whatever you're asking questions about. All right, so I've gone ahead and basically just filled in all of the possible answer choices to each question. So this list right here that's in list item number 1 or index number 1 is for the first question, and then index 2 is for the second question, third question, fourth question, etc. So again, this is kind of a complicated thing because it's a list of lists, but the more you think about it, really these are just the possible options for the answer choice. And the place where they are in this list called answer choices list is the question that they correspond to. So what we need to do is go ahead and go modify our before picking, because currently it was selecting from all of the choices in the answers list, and really we want to be choosing from answer choices. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to answer choices list, except that if I did that, what I would get returned is a list of all of these lists. And really what I want to do is drill down into one more level. I want to select the first item in that list, which is a list itself. So we'll go over here to the lists block or tray, and we want to select a list item from a list, and the list that we want to get the item from is the answer choices. And then of course the index is basically the question number, and so we'll plug that in. So let's go ahead and go check to see if this is working properly inside of our app. So we will hop back over, and currently we are currently we're looking at this James Earl Jones question. So when I click choose answer, this is the third one, and we do indeed see 3 choices, of which James Earl Jones is the correct answer. And it goes ahead and actually it chooses a correct value. If we chose Morgan Freeman instead, it would give me an answer that no, I'm incorrect, and I can still move forward and then choose the correct answer here. Okay, great. So so everything's working really nicely. I think it's good for us to talk really quick about one of the nice pieces of our app, and that is that while we're maintaining kind of 2 separate lists, the answers list and the answer choices list, and there's obviously a correlation between these, like a correct answer needs to appear in the choices, we really didn't have to alter our code for after picking at all, because all we were interested in what that selection was and how it compared to the current value in here. So thinking forward, we'd like to maybe build a whole series of questions and maybe eventually store them. If we wanted to store them long term, maybe like add new questions on and then store that, we'd have to do that with something called the database. And we're going to be seeing those pretty soon. But we could even think about the fact that a user could maybe add his or her own questions onto this. So we could insert their question into the last slot of the questions list. The correct answer could be inserted at the end of this list, and then the answer choices could show up in that correlated list spot. So just kind of thinking about what we could kind of build from here. But really we have a pretty, nice functioning, although it be it basic app. We've got a lot of levels of complexity inside of here because we have lists inside of lists. And this is a really common practice for complicated programs. So feeling pretty good so far. The next step, we'll go ahead and modify this up just a little bit more, but pretty happy with where it's at.